Hello, students. I, Lokesh Saini, welcome you all to the Shankar IAS Academy. So we have come up with a new video, in which we'll discuss about that what is budget. Before discussing budget in a detailed way, we must understand about the basics. That what do you mean by the budget, and what is the history of this budget in India, and why it is very important for the UPSC aspirants to understand the budget. What budget exactly holds signification in your UPSC preparation as well as your interview. Now, starting from what is budget? See, budget is an annual financial statement of a government of India. It tells that what is the source of revenue for the government, right, and where the government is going to expend that money, right. The budget is introduced by the finance minister in the parliament. Right? The responsibility of the budget lies with the Department of Economic Affairs. That is a wing of finance ministry only, and every year they prepare budget for the government of India, and then that budget is being given to the finance minister, and then finance minister tables that bill into the parliament. Right now, the history of the budget. The word budget has been derived from the French word budget. It means a sort of bag in which you old people used to put the coins and other things. So later on, from budget, it becomes budget. Now, so as we already discussed, that what do you mean by the budget? It is an annual financial statement by the government of India, right? Now, every year it is, discussed that what will happen in this country from April 1st, 2020. Like on 1st February, the government has introduced the budget, right? So now government has introduced, suppose February. Now from 1st February 2026 till March 31st, 2027, whatever will be the source of revenue and the source of expenditure, that will comes under the category of this budget. And as we have already discussed, that is being managed by the Ministry of Finance. Okay. And the budget is nowhere mentioned in the constitution, right? It has been described by the as an annual financial statement. Okay. If suppose tomorrow examination they ask you that budget is mentioned in so and so article, then that statement would be wrong. This word budget has been nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Instead, the constitution uses the annual financial statement, right? And we have already discussed that this budget is being prepared by the finance ministry wing, that is known as the Department of Economic Affairs. They prepare this budget every year. Under Article 112, the President of India, it is required to lay before House of the Parliament a statement of the estimated receipts and expenditure. So that, this particular estimated receipts and expenditure of the government of India, that is only known as the budget. Actual may no word budget is mentioned anywhere in the constitution. This is known as the annual financial statement. And under Article 112, this President of India is required to lay before the both houses of the parliament कि budget जो है वो introduce होता है in front of the both houses of the parliament under Article 112. Here are some few technical details regarding how constitution handles it, because no taxation without law. In Article 265 state that that no tax shall be levied or collected by except by the authority decided by the country, right? And this is why the government needs to pass the finance bill, because in the polity also we have discussed that no single money can be taken out of the consolidated fund of India without the appropriation made by the law, right? And then there is a state budget. Every state have their own budget under Article 202. Okay, because Article 266 mandate that no money can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund of India except under the appropriation made by the law. So why do we call it budget then? Because there is an old French word that is known as budget. I've already discussed you, and that was a leather bag. Or recently you have seen every year, the government of India, whenever the finance ministry, she appears before the the press, then she always show this red bag. So this is the old heritage we are carrying forward, the legacy. Historically, the British Chancellor of the Exchequer would carry a financial papers as a leather bag. The term stuck. And in India, we have recently shifted from traditional leather bag briefcase to the Bahi Khata red cloth folder and now digital table. Now, and digitally, the budget is being tabled in the parliament in both houses. From paper, we have become a paperless economy. It's a commitment of India that we wanted to become paperless economy. So in the spirit of that, the government also introduced the digital bill. And here you should know, before reading directly to the budget, you should know the key differences between what is the difference between budget and what is the difference between the economic survey. So first of all thing, we must understand that union budget is being prepared by the finance ministry, and there is a particular department in that is known as the Department of Economic Affairs. And this economic survey would be prepared by the chief economic advisor. Though this thing you must understand first. Now, what is the nature? A detailed analysis of the economy's performance, that how economy has performed last year. This thing we discuss in the survey. And a financial statement of estimated that from where we'll get money and where we'll spend that money. This thing we discuss in budget. And a detailed analysis of the previous year's economy performance we discuss in the economic survey. So the focus is here, the backward looking reviews in the year that just passed. Okay, and that is budget has a nature of forward looking, that what's going to be happen in the next financial year. And this usually comes day before budget. Economic survey is being presented day before the budget, and budget usually now on 1st of February every year. Legal status, that is not constitutionally mandated, but this budget is being constitutionally mandated under Article 112. No government has been no binding, this economic survey has no binding force on the government, but whatever the government decides in the budget, they have to fulfill that. So this thing you must keep in mind. So that was the real motive to make this video, before you directly jump to that what is the things in this year's budget. So you must understand about the basics of the budget. So you should understand that what is the difference between economic survey, what do you mean by union budget, and what is the history of this union budget. Now, there are some constitutional requirement for the annual financial statement be valid. It must be distinguished between the expenditure charged upon the consolidated fund and expenditure made from the consolidated fund. And since it's February 2, the budget was likely just presented yesterday only. So everything, I have already told you that not a single penny you can take it out without being the appropriation made by the law. Now, these are the core components of the budget. There is a revenue budget that deals with day-to-day operations, income tax, GST, and non-tax sources like interest and dividends. And then that how much we are spending on salaries, on subsidies, and interest payments on the previous. And there is one capital budget. So this is a revenue budget. Okay, in this revenue budget, you must understand, they can ask you in the prelims also that what comes under the revenue budget. Then you must, hold this information that anything which is coming from income tax or GST or non-tax sources like interest and dividends, and we are spending on salaries and subsidies, because these things are not creating any capital. Now, here in capital budget deals with a long-term investment that which will be asset for the government. So the loans from the public RBI, selling shares in the public company, spending on the building infrastructure like highways, hospitals, schools, defense equipment. So wherever we are spending the money on building infrastructure, whenever we are spending money on the building infrastructure like highways, hospitals, and schools, then it will fall into the category of the capital budget. So we must understand that there is a difference between the revenue budget and capital budget. So this was the difference. Now, why it is important? Because for the economic growth and taxation changes, price control, and social welfare, because it allocates the education and other stuffs. Okay, so that is why it decides everything for a country. Now it is very important that why it is really important for the UPSC students, that why budget matters for the UPSC students. This is the prime concern for the today's video. Now one must understand that the union budget is not just a financial paper sheet. It is what you call a major instrument for the public policy and a primary tool for the governance, because that paper have every idea that where government is going to expend that money, from where the revenue will come, and how the government will expend that money, right? So budget is not just a what you call a paper. Budget is a tool, or is an instrument for the government, for the governance for a country. Now in the mains exam, this budget wala thing, that will comes under your GS paper 3 economic section. So they can ask you in the prelims point of view also, they can ask you the questions in prelims also. And budget is important, any scheme from budget they can ask you in the mains also, or evaluation about any scheme and so and so. So in the mains also, especially GS paper 3, the budget is treated as the blueprint for the government's vision for the nation. So basically, if somebody asks you that what is budget, so budget is treated as the blueprint government's vision for the nation, that how resource would be allocated and how social justice that government is going to plan, that how much we are going to spend on these the social welfare schemes, or where we can give more focus on the roti kapda makan of the common people, right? Now how will bring fiscal discipline and how to bring the economic stability for a betterment of any country, then what would be the policy direction and governance, and constitutionally and parliamentary accountability is there, right? So that is why it is very important. So if someone asks you why budget is important, because it's a major for public policy and a primary tool for governance, because in this only we get to know that where resources are being allocated, how government is sensitive towards the social justice, and what would be the fiscal disciplines and economic stability and policy directions and the governance. Now here in this also we'll discuss some questions about the budget as well, right? Some PYQs. With a reference to the union budget, consider the following statements, right? So union of prime minister lays the annual finance statement before both of the, so this statement would be definitely wrong, that union finance minister on the behalf of prime minister, right? At the union level, no demand for grant can be made except on the recommendation of the President of India. Which of the statement is the correct answer? Then obviously second is the only correct answer, because it's not PM, it's President, right? So first statement was wrong. Okay. Now in 2021, which of the following is are included in the capital budget of the government of India? I have discussed already. There is a revenue budget and there is a capital budget. So remember, then we have to think that what categories comes under the capital budget. Now expenditure on the acquisition of the assets like roads, building, machinery, etc. Obviously, definitely this option will be correct in the capital budget category. Then the loans received from the foreign governments, and loan and advances granted to the state and union territories. Okay, loans and advances granted to the state and union territory. So obviously first would be the 100% option. Now, loans and advance granted to the states and union territory, and that loans can be created for capital also. So we can calculate this third also. And loan received from the foreign governments. Now, that loan you can invest anywhere, right? So the correct answer would be 1, 2, 3. All of the answers are the correct. So this was the explanation video for the budget. Keep watching Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you so much.